This section is an example of how the ideas of mathematics are built on top of each other. In this section, we're not going to learn anything new. However, we are going to connect some dots that we've established from previous sections. When we first introduced division, we saw that we can unwind the division problem to a related multiplication problem. To do the calculation 20 divided by 5, we ask the question, 5 times what equals 20? Instead of thinking about this process as numbers, we can think about this process in terms of positive and negative values. What is a positive divided by a negative? In order to answer this question, we need to look at the equivalent multiplication problem. A negative times what is a positive? Well, a negative times a negative is a positive. Therefore, a positive divided by a negative must be negative. As it turns out, by thinking through all four possibilities, we find that the rules for division with negatives is virtually identical to the rules for multiplication with negatives. A positive divided by a positive is positive. A positive divided by a negative is negative. A negative divided by a positive is negative. And a negative divided by a negative is positive. We will now apply this observation to actual calculations. Example, compute 18 divided by negative 2. 18 divided by negative 2 is a positive divided by a negative. A positive divided by a negative is negative. And then we need to do the calculation. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So 18 divided by negative 2 is negative 9. Notice how similar this feels to multiplication with negatives. We start off by thinking about the signs, and then we do a calculation to get the numbers. Notice the use of the parentheses to group the negative sign with the 2. Remember, you should never have two arithmetic symbols side by side. Example, compute negative 2,000 divided by negative 50. We have not discussed how to deal with many zeros and negatives at the same time, but in a certain sense, you should already know what you need to do. Negative 2,000 divided by negative 50 is the same as negative 200 divided by negative 5. And we do this by regrouping into groups of 10. Negative 200 divided by negative 5 is a negative divided by a negative, so the final answer will be positive. And then 200 divided by 5 turns out to be 40, so the final answer is positive 40.